Good evening, everyone. The reaction of so many people today was, oh no, not again. Another high school, Columbine High in Littleton, Colorado, this time on the edge of Denver.
With at least 2 gunmen.
About ambulances.
2 gunmen inside the school.
A tragic situation.
They were trapped inside for hours. Another boy shot 5 times. At this point, the most serious being one girl shot 9 times in the chest. No word.
Littleton, Colorado is a quiet, middle-class suburban town in the middle of America, and the class of about 2,000 students at Columbine High School were about to get ready for graduation. On April 20th, 1999, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold killed 12 fellow students and a teacher and injured 23 others before turning the guns on themselves. They used homemade bombs, 2 sawed-off gauge shotguns, a 9mm semi-automatic rifle, and a 9mm semi-automatic pistol in a siege that began shortly after 11 a.m.
Jefferson County 911. Yes, I am a teacher at Columbine High School. There is a student here with a gun. He has shot out a window.
Okay, has anybody been injured, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and the school is in a panic, and I'm in the library. I've got students down under the table, kids. Heads under the table. I saw a student outside. I was in hall duty. Oh, dear God. Okay, I was on hall duty. I saw a gun. I said, what's going on out there? And he turned the gun straight at us and shot. And my God, the window went out. And the kid standing there with me, I think he got
As the unfolding horror spread throughout the building, students scrambled for hiding places in closets, bathrooms, and any other spot that offered the hope of shelter from the horror. Some called 911 from cellular phones, and many more managed to escape the building. Around the same time, Neil Gardner, the Jefferson County Sheriff deputy on duty full-time at the school, radioed for backup. The police arrived within 20 minutes, and they found several explosive devices around the school building. At noon, 45 minutes after the shooting began, ambulances began transporting wounded students to hospitals as the parking lot filled with bomb teams, SWAT teams, fire trucks, and paramedic units. At about 12:30 p.m., the shooting stopped. By the time it was over, the gunmen had killed 13 people, including Scholes, teacher and coach David Saunders, the students Cassie Burnell, Stephen Cornell, Corey DePuter, Kelly Fleming, Matthew Kexmer, Daniel Mauser, Daniel Robro, Rachel Scott, John Tomlin, Lauren Townsend, and Kyle Velasquez. Then in the library, Klebold and Harris shot themselves. Terrified parents rushed out to meet kids, while news reporters began arriving. By this time, people had started asking why. How could such a tragedy occur? Americans began taking a new look at their nation in terms of gun violence. How many people are killed by gun violence each year? In Germany, 381. In France, 255. In Canada, 165. In the United Kingdom, 68. In Australia, 65. In Japan, 39. And in the United States, 11,127.
The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Try to keep weapons out of the hands of those who are likely to commit such crimes.
Since when did the gun become a bad word?
What's wrong with our mental health system?
The National Rifle Association says that guns don't kill people, people do. But I think the gun helps, you know? I think it helps. I just think just standing there going, bang! That's not going to kill too many people, is it?
10 days after the shooting occurred, the NRA held a large pro-gun rally in Denver. Hundreds of angry parents gathered together in protest.
I'm here today because my son Daniel would want me to be here today. A Tech 9 semi-automatic 30-bullet weapon like that killed my son is not used to kill deer. It has no useful purpose.
After Columbine, there was an immediate rise in events similar to the tragedy all throughout the country. One specific incident occurred in Flint, Michigan. A 6-year-old first-grade boy at Buell Elementary found a gun at his uncle's house. He brought the gun to school and shot another first-grader, 6-year-old Kayla Rowland. With one bullet that passed through her body, she fell to the floor and laid there dying while her teacher called the police. After the uprising in gun violence immediately following the massacre in Littleton, school systems began searching for ways to prevent these events from ever happening again.
Columbine changed schools in America.
Since last spring's shooting at Columbine High, schools nationwide have extended zero-tolerance policies, suspending and expelling students for all kinds of behavior considered unruly or warning signs of violence to come. This second grader in Illinois was suspended for 10 days for bringing a nail clipper to class. That's a weapon, his school said.
An elementary school suspended a first grader for pointing a chicken strip at a teacher in the cafeteria. The 8-year-old was fooling around with a friend at lunch last week when he pointed a breaded chicken finger at a teacher and then said, "Pow, pow."
Pointed a folded piece of paper like this one, shaped like a gun, and told his classmates he was going to kill them during a game of cops and robbers.
This isn't a warning sign. Then what is it?
This Virginia high school student spent a month out of classes, originally sent home for dyeing his hair blue.
Students in at least 7 different states have been suspended or arrested for talking about or planning plots of their own.
The tragedy left the wounded nation in a state of hysteria. New changes in school security began developing as a result of this.
It's zero tolerance. It's the same with alcohol, drugs, violence, weapons, probably something else in there too. But yeah, that's when we don't. There's no flexibility.
That was the biggest reaction, which was to clamp down on the schools, make them more secure.
There is a new district-wide hotline for anonymous tips, required ID badges for all adults and visitors to the school, and a zero-tolerance policy. This is one of the new security measures at the school. All of the outside doors are locked. You have to press this buzzer to get in. Video cameras monitor your entry.
What more can you share about where this all stands right now? It does seem like this man had a pretty committed plan.
He shot his way into the school. The school was locked. He used a weapon to open up the glass and then walked.
He blasted right through it.
Right, with a number of rounds. He discharged to make an opening and then went through it. Went to the first classroom, as you know, went to the second classroom.
Right here in Newtown, Connecticut, the site today of a mass shooting, and this time gunfire aimed at elementary school children. We're here in front of the Newtown United Methodist Church, where we've watched people gathering all evening long, as tonight the details are still pouring in. There are 27 victims, 20 children, 7 adults.
The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own.